Hey everyone, it's your professional sarcastic man and seeker of attention, Oz Chris, here with a review of Kamen Rider Zi-O, episode 3, the start of the X-Aid tribute episode. So overall, it was an okay episode. Uh, it's okay at best. I didn't particularly have huge problems with it, but it's not something I would say you have to watch this episode. This episode is the best episode of Kamen Rider to ever have existed. No. So starting off, we have another kind of recap by Woz, and I actually do like how they do the recaps with this. With have Woz recapping the previous episode as if he was reading it from a book. Essentially, what he is. Given his whole character is he is from the future, and he's trying to make sure all of history happens to a point that Zi-O will still be created. So it does make sense for him to recap previous episodes, as he has a whole book containing the whole series event. So I do appreciate that. It's better than simply just having a narrator or one of the characters recap the previous episode instead, and just have it completely full of just like the key scenes from that episode. So I do like that. However, the main character, Sogo, he's a blank slate. He's blank, he's bland. There's nothing interesting about him. And that's the problem. He's the main character. There should be something about the main character that you like, that makes him interesting. With Sogo, there's nothing. So far, he's bland. Like I said, he's bland. He's a bland character. He's very simple. While the other characters like Guys and Tsukuyomi, Woz, and all that, they're interesting. Whenever they're there, they're the best characters so far. And that's the problem. The series is called Kamen Rider Zi-O. You expect Zi-O to be one of the best characters as well. He is the titular character. But no. But anyway, speaking of characters, we're introduced to one of the new time jackers, Ora. She is so far the only female member of the time jackers, and you get a little bit more about their goals. It's not a team effort to help create a new king. Each time jacker is there to make sure that a king that they choose becomes a candidate they choose becomes king. So not all of them. So like in the previous 2 episodes, not all of them work together to make sure that another build is the one that becomes the future king. They all just pick random people and give them a random Kamen Rider power, another rider power essentially, to see if they can become the king instead of Zi-O. So, and she's cute. I'll say that. Ora is cute. I've seen a lot of people in forums say that she is best girl. Only just introduced and she's the best girl. And the cameos, the returning actors, the returning legends of this episode are Hiro Kagami, Kamen Rider Brave, and Hojo Emu, Emu Hojo, Kamen Rider X-Aid, both of them from Kamen Rider X-Aid. The thing is, throughout the episode, they try to keep Emu obscured, trying to hide the fact that it is Emu that in those scenes. The problem is the previous episode and all the previews for episode 3 have already showed that it is Emu. So it was kind of that was one of my problems with this episode, is like, we know it's him. Pretty much anyone who's watched the series or watched the end of episode 2 of Zi-O and seeing the previews for episode 3 knows that is Emu. It's not that much of a surprise. I don't see why that was that was done. They could have just handled it like a normal flashback. And moving on, because X8 is a game, essentially a video game themed series, we got to have some video game references. And the first one the main one that I did like is the whole, I think it was called the Konami code input, I believe it was. Or the code input, the up, up, down, down, left, right, essentially code. In order to enter the world of the most unbeatable game, you had to input that code onto one of the handheld consoles. I did appreciate that kind of like reference. And the next Legend Rider form, armor form, is Geyser's drive form. So considering he already has two ride watches based off previous Kamen Riders, I'm guessing later on in the series they're going to at least explain how he got those powers, because from Woz's explanation, when a ride watch is created, essentially that Kamen Rider's power is stolen and they're removed from time and from existence. So the events of their series have never happened at all, or just them being a Kamen Rider has never happened at all before. So I assume they're going to explain how he got those powers. But anyway, that's it. Overall, the episode was okay. Everyone except the main character are interesting. They really kind of need to fix that. So Sogo is just a blank, almost bland character at this point. I think that's an opinion I've seen a lot of people say about Sogo so far, that he's just bland. There's nothing interesting about him. But this is the first part of the XA tribute, so it does feel like this is gonna kind of be like Kamen Rider Decade, where they just split kind of the anniversary, the tribute episodes into two. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Technically, build was only one, because the first episode is kind of a lead up to the tribute, and then episode 2 was the tribute episode. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, Zi-O hasn't been a bad series, but they really just need to improve on the main character, essentially. But that's it for this review. That's it for this video. I will see all of you next time.
Now